So one lasting impression from when I was here in 2010, 9 years ago, was that we made so many test plates. Julia just allowed me to really see in a very deep way the possibilities, which loosened me up a lot. I had been familiar with some different kinds of printmaking, like letterpress printing and silkscreen, but not etching. And to have the chance to really see and test out through my own drawing practice and sort of my idiosyncratic ways of working and mark making, just what was possible with these different materials was incredible. I also really appreciated the flexibility that Julia created within a field, within a discipline that was really new to me, and she made it feel very like the possibilities were open to me, not that it was this rigid, formal practice that I couldn't enter. So there was a real sort of entrance, like a ramp that she created into printmaking. So the prints that I ended up making really built on the drawing practices that I was really engaged in at that time. I was doing a lot of drawing with thread through stiff paper materials, and I was pouring ink onto surfaces and moving it around. And one thing I remember is once I had come down here and made prints with Julia, the sort of lens of seeing those drawing practices through a different medium and through some really different technical opportunities allowed me to go back into my studio and reconsider and rethink how I was doing those. So it led me to test out different materials and to work in some different ways and to really kind of expand the vocabulary that I had been building. So it was like a big leg up in sort of every single process because I was able to look at it through different eyes and to sort of see how it operated with someone else's hands helping me make the work. So the image I'm working on is really different than what I worked on 9 years ago with Julia. And I really think of print collaboration like this as a way to try something out that I'm, something that's new, that's different than what I'm working on in the studio, or that I this opportunity can also become a pivot point in a project or a process that I'm working on, and help me sort of get a different angle on it. So the image that I'm working on is a photographic image. Photography has been really important to me over the years, but it hasn't been what I'm showing in my work as an artist. It is something that I do almost daily. And I've been building an archive of images that I make while I'm walking, and especially images that I make while I'm walking in forests and around bodies of water. A lot of those images deal with reflection and the sort of beauty and confusion of looking at reflected, objects that are reflected. And I'm really interested in where you can almost not understand what's up and what's down and what's the real thing and what's the reflection. So I've chosen an image that I made in Portland at Laurelhurst Park, and it has this sort of aspect of confusion, and it's really exciting and very, very challenging to break it down into these different steps. Julia and I spoke about this idea before I came down here for the residency, and she really encouraged me to try this. And one thing that is one of the amazing gifts of this program is that I could never do this on my own. It's working in collaboration with a master printer, with Julia in particular, to sort of see the possibilities in how to recompose this image into two plates, and all the sort of technical and specific steps that we're taking to get there are still a little magical and mysterious to me, and I can't wait to see where we go with it. Well, I mean, the first thing I'll say about this program is I feel so fortunate to have been included in it both 9 years ago and again now. It's an incredible gift to have the chance to come down to work directly one-on-one with Julia and make prints and expand, everything that I'm doing in my studio in directions that I can't even sort of, visualize yet. So that's an incredible gift. The other part of the gift is really a real material gift, is that we are making prints that then we have, part of the edition, and we can share them with people. We can, they can be sold. We can donate them when we're asked to donate artworks, and they can go off into other people's hands and other people's lives. And so it's, it starts with this wellspring of generosity to bring artists together with Julia to make prints, and then these prints go out into the world. And then Sitka also gets prints, and they are, the Sitka is building this incredible collection of, my almost 200 or at least 200 prints that are editioned and that can then go into hopefully significant collections and other people's hands. And the extent to which that gets tracked and fed back to the artist, I think, is something that would be interesting to expand on, and to let artists know where their work is going. And what is really amazing about this program is that Sitka is building this collection of prints that can go into the hands of other institutions and collectors, and it's a treasure trove of prints here. I mean, there are over 200 prints made by artists from all over the country, and a lot of regional artists. So it's an incredible archive, and I know Julia does a lot of really important work, doing what printmakers do, documenting how each edition was created, and all of the specifics, and where certain, there's a document sheet that describes where the print is and what collections it's gone into, and hopefully that is going to continue to be maintained, because that system is really important for artists too, as well as the institution to know where the artwork is going, and just what kind of big, lifespan it's having. Yeah, I mean, Julia is like a incredible multilanguage translator, or has to be. She has to work as a translator, speaking all these different art languages with the different artists that come in, because they're not all, they're by design not printmakers. They're people who work in different fields and with different materials and different methods. And so, and then as an artist participating in the program, part of what's so exciting is that collaborative relationship where, I'm accustomed to making my own work in my studio for the most part. And so here there's this opportunity and challenge to come and find common language for a process that's really not familiar to me. And so it's one of those, like, occasionally a little stressful, painful, growing experiences where it's like, I can't, I can relate to my 9-year-old son, who's learning, new things every single day, and sometimes it's really hard to learn and hard to expand and get out of your rut or get out of your pattern of behavior, and that's another one of the gifts that this opportunity, this printmaking program, printmaking residency with Julia offers. The chance to get out of your comfort zone, and that is always a good thing as an artist.